Hey, Ronnie.
Hey, how are you, man?
Good. I think we're almost all here.
Yeah.
Ronnie, that toad chucker looks good on you, man.
Yeah, man, I was kind of liking it. I'm a hat guy.
You
So
look good
I
in
was
teal,
like,
buddy.
yeah, man, why not do it? You got to do it right. And I'm a swag guy, and this swag is working for me, baby.
Yes, sir.
But not only that, look at that. We got the Mr. Mullet right here.
I
That's
see
Mr.
it. I got the mullet too.
I sent him a mullet.
Oh yeah.
I had to when I was setting it up. I was like, "This guy's got to get a Mr. Mullet."
Yeah,
We
man.
used to have a hat called the Old Preacher.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We discontinued it just because we're the only ones that really loved it, but it was great.
Man, this
Hey,
is
did
amazing. You know,
Hunter? Did
I,
you
I
get
just
them? I just
love
had one. Did you send one of the full play knives?
No, we got to get him one. Paul at BSPR wanted me to hold off on just sending him too much all at once. We didn't want to seem desperate.
I tell you what, I'm loving my cup, my koozie here.
Dude, isn't
You
it
know,
great?
my wife tried to take this from me this morning from work, and I'm like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Nay, nay. We'll have to get her one too. What's your wife's name?
Yvette.
That
So,
awesome.
if there's a way to knock over a cup, it just never fails because she's always on the go like myself. She'll knock it over. So, like when I saw how this thing just latches on and sticks to the bottom right there, man, that was money for me. I was like, this is perfect for me because it's accident proof. And I got grandkids hanging around right now, so that's also good as well. When they got all this sticky Kool-Aid, not
Yes,
Kool-Aid,
sir.
Gatorade and
We call
stuff.
it dog tail and baby proof.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, man.
It's actually marine proof too, baby.
That's
I'm
right. We're clumsy too. I mean, you got to check out the
Yeah.
video we have. We've got the CEO's daughter trying to knock it over, dog tails.
wow.
It's not just for boats, man. You got it.
Yeah, man. So I my first introduction to your product, man, it was literally by an accident. I walked into a tackle store and I saw this product because I love shrimp. Anybody knows me knows I love shrimp. And I saw your shrimp tool to help clean shrimp.
Yeah.
Man, that was money. And then, what's funny is you look at a product and most people look at, the application of the product and how well it works. But I'm all about the aesthetics too, man. I was like, this is money, man. I said,
That's
I'll buy two or three of them. I bought one for me and a buddy of mine that loves shrimp as well. He's like, dude, where'd you get this? So I told him where it was. And man, I'll tell you what. And then every time I go in there, I see some new products. And then I'm like, whoa, who is this company?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just that was the first thing. I mean, the oyster knife is great, and that's kind of why we started the company. Was the concept of Toadfish was an oyster knife that replanted oyster beds. But then
Yeah.
I think
Mhm.
our CEO Casey saw his grandmother using that old red one that's like $3.
Yeah.
What if we make this a little better and patent a blade on it to butterfly it too? And that's
Ooh.
when selling got fun, man. I told
Ooh.
Trey I kind of miss when we only sold 2 products, but
Yeah.
Right, right, right.
yeah, man, that really put us on the map. My mom's my biggest critic, and she thinks that's one of the best things we've ever made.
That's awesome, man.
Wow.
So let's, for everybody that's just joining us, this is a BSPR LLC. We're just to keep it, the elevator pitch. We're the fastest growing sporting goods distributor out there as far as sales and marketing and distribution. We've partnered with Toadfish and with the greatest of all time here in the fishing industry, Ronnie Green. I think there's going to be a great collaboration, and there's big things that come down the road. We market to over 135 countries. We're going to get Toadfish, and Ronnie Green knows. I mean, actually, Hunter and Ronnie are probably like I consider them like my best friends now because I talk to them like maybe 14 times a day.
You're on speed dial now, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. So we're always in, and that's the beauty of this industry is like we're all trying to do good things for business, but we're also trying to make friends and do good things for other people and get them outdoors and have that great experience with their friends, family, and children, and all that stuff. And that's why we look for the newest and the best products out there, and that we got we got Ronnie Green, who's an expert at this, and then we have Toadfish, who's they'll elaborate on this in a little bit of what they do to help the outdoor industry. And also Trey is down there as well. He works for Toadfish, great guy, fireman as well. So yeah, thank you for your service, Trey. So let's let's start off a little bit about we'll start with Ronnie first. Just tell me a little bit about fishing story and how you try to make people entertained but also educated about the outdoor industry.
So obviously we have a TV show called A Fishing Story with Ronnie Green, and what we do is we tell stories through the portal of fishing, and we tell everything about people's journey in life. And that seems to be hot because people love to hear about stories. I'm a fisherman, outdoorsman, the whole 9 yards. I love all of that, but everyone seems to think, or at least the audience want more. They want to hear, why do you fish? They want to hear, what is it all about? Not just about the baits, not just about the fish. And so that's what we do. We tell stories through the portal of fishing. And my experience with fishing started when I was a kid, obviously fishing with my dad and my mom. But my great grandmother was the influence that honed my skills as a fisherman. And I'm forever grateful. And I find a way to literally pay homage to her every time we air an episode, just talking about my journey, because she taught me that everyone does have a fishing story, because she wouldn't talk much when she was in a normal environment. But you get out there fishing, it's a wrap. You'll hear everything you need to hear and then some. And that's how we got here.
Right. That's an amazing story, Ronnie. And let's talk about your family life and how your children are they big into fishing as well? Any hobbies that they have that you enjoy as well?
They do. And my oldest son is visiting now. He's been out of the country for a while running his business. His business is flourishing and doing really well, called Gridwives. And he remembers when he was fishing as a youngster, and even when he went to the Naval Academy. My middle son, who went to New Mexico State, and he loves fishing. And of course, my daughter is my ride or die fisherman, and she's the youngest of all three, and she's the real deal. And she can pick up a spinnerbait and hold it all day and smack them.
Nice. So let's, for people that have not met you or not familiar with your show, let's talk about a little bit of your background. I mean, you're a military vet. You went to Texas Tech, and not to be confused with Texas A&M.
Yeah.
So what did you do at Texas Tech, and all that stuff?
I picked Texas Tech. Texas Tech is in West Texas. The Red Raiders, boy, guns up, baby. Texas Tech is a phenomenal university. That's where I got my undergraduate degree. And I was also a track athlete, a world-class track athlete, an All-American a few times, and did my thing. And it was just kind of by chance. But what's interesting is I always fished throughout all of those times. And after Texas Tech, I graduated. I went into the United States Marine Corps as an officer, and it doesn't just happen like you typically would see in enlisting into the military. In order to be an officer in the Marine Corps, you've got to go through rigorous training, and there's usually a 46% attrition. And it's not because you can't make it through, it's because they got to vote you in and keep you in. It was the first reality show that never was publicized on TV, man, because they vote you off the island, so to speak, if you're not the appropriate candidate and can't lead Marines. So I felt honored to be the fewer, the prouder Marine officer. So, and I love this country so much that I felt like if you love it that much, why don't you put your life on the line and show people what this great country is all about? And that's what it's all about. And of course, after that, moving on into medical device sales, and as a sales manager, pacemakers, defibrillators, hematology, clinical chemistry, immunology, all of that good stuff. And dealing with physicians, dealing with hospitals, all of that, and watching the healthcare industry change so much in a good way and in some interesting ways for, of course, for physicians. So that's the gist of my life. But the life is only just nothing more than a forefront. But the most important part that was kind of kept secret was my outdoor prowess, fishing and hunting. It's just always been a part of me.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and we all thank you for your service, and and that's excellent. And again, we thank you. And you've had great success, just not as a entrepreneur with your own things, but in life as well. Just with your military background, education, and weren't you a track star or something at Texas Tech?
Yeah. It was. I guess you can consider that. Went to the Olympic trials and all that good stuff, and it was a pretty fast guy. I figured, when I played football in college, I liked it for a little bit, but I realized everybody's just as fast, except they're 3 times bigger. So I was like, you know what? I could get the same kind of college degree, except I'm from track, and it only takes me about an hour and a half to do my workout versus 4 or 5, 6 hours, of my day. So it was the best thing, and my body seems to thank me as well. But so I love my experience at Texas Tech, and of course, doing that track and field.
Yeah, and and you've obviously had great success in fishing, so and that's great as well. And I know your hobbies are, include hunting as well, so that's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that. Let's start with Hunter. Tell me about Toadfish, man.
Yeah, so we started back in 2017. All of us left corporate jobs, and Casey, our CEO, Casey Davidson, wanted to. He left Shimano and Pure Fishing and wanted to start his own company. So we touched on this a little bit, but we started the company with an oyster knife that replanted oyster beds. We started as more of like a coastal kitchen company. We did oyster knives and like Ronnie was saying, a shrimp tool that peels the veins and butterflies shrimp. That's kind of what put us, on people's radar. And then we expanded from there. We did a crab claw cutter that cuts perfect circles around crab claws instead of smashing them. I mean, we did, again, the oyster knife, the shrimp tool. Our number one kitchen item right now is a fish spatula, believe it or not. My mom's our biggest critic, and she thinks it's the best product we've ever made other than the shrimp tool. And then what most people know us for is our non-tipping can cooler. It's non-directional suction, what we call smart grip we patented. And you can't knock it over, but you can lift it straight up and keep on drinking, which is what most of us straight can tell you what Toadfish love to do. So
you're drinking Kool-Aid, right? Correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Mostly just water and juice.
Okay. Yeah, that's this will be aired, so we got to keep it PC, bro.
Yeah. We're just staying hydrated out here.
There you go.
But yeah, so what the main thing, I mean, obviously we're all out here trying to make a profit, but the main thing we're trying to do is give back to the coast. So what Toadfish does is we replant oyster beds on the coast in several different states, and we've donated right around, I'd say, just over 200,000 square feet of oyster beds. So
holy moly, that's crazy.
Most people don't know that oysters filter our water. So one oyster can filter up to 50 gallons of water per day. That's just one oyster.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
we donate
amazing.
to man, it's great. I mean, it's a lot of fun to do, a lot of fun to give back, and while you're working, just to be working for a good cause. We've got something called the Toadfish Conservation Coalition, which is our own nonprofit. We've done everything from donating to the CCA, the Department of Natural Resources. We've gone out and planted beds ourselves. But yeah, I mean, it's really a lot of fun to wake up every day and
so Hunter, where are the specific locations that you do this? Is there like you're planting beds, but where are they?
I mean, they're really all over. I mean, we've planted everywhere from our own Charleston Harbor. We've given back to organizations that go out and physically put oysters back into the coast and recycle them. The Marine Discovery Center, Galveston Bay Foundation, Chesapeake Bay. I mean, really all over. We're working with about 6 or 7 states right now in terms of,
awesome
planting oyster beds.
Ronnie, have you fished any of those areas that he's speaking of?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, and that's kind of how everything goes full circle. Obviously, I talked about the shrimp tool and how that was my first introduction. But then on the back end, it's kind of like going through the back end of a website. That's what I loved about Toadfish is, their contributions to conservation. And I work closely with like CCA and some of the others here in Florida and doing my thing. And we just love that part right there where we talked about the oysters and then what he does conservation. Man, that just took me to the next level.
Yeah.
And said, this is what a company should be.
Exactly.
The standard.
Exactly. And that's why we did, we got a ton of offers because we're, growing really fast. And if you look, I would encourage everybody to go to BSPR LLC.com, toadfish.com, fishingstory.com, start liking and sharing those things because we're doing great things. And that's why I sought out Hunter and Toadfish, is because what they're doing to help. They're not taking, they're giving back as well. You know what I'm saying? So I think they're a great company to model after, and we only get the best of the best, and people that are actually doing good things in this world. And so we're very, we can't be more ecstatic to have Toadfish as one of the products we represent. And then also, then we got, Ronnie, the goat that I call him, helping us to promote it. And also, I just think, it's a good thing. We got more things coming down the line. We'll all be at ICAST. So, we'll be there to talk with everybody. We'll have representatives from BSPR talking with Hunter, most likely Trey at the show from our company. And then they can, we'll both work together to get people to be aware of what they're doing and what we're doing to help them market and get them out there. Ronnie's going to be there, but I'm sure that Ronnie's only got like 5 minutes to sit there and say hi to you, but he'll probably make an appearance at the booth so you guys can get a chance to say hi to him. But Trey, let's talk about you, man. What's going on with you?
Yeah, so I came along in Toadfish. My story is actually kind of funny. As you mentioned earlier, I'm a full-time fireman. I've got just a hair over 10 years involved in the service. I went to a military college here in Charleston called the Citadel. I actually played baseball against Casey. Casey played baseball. Casey Davis in the fountain. He played baseball a little bit at College Charleston. We were big rivals. So how this thing goes full circle is actually pretty funny. I used to work in the warehouse company. Everybody knows Hook. Anyways, Casey and I lived in the same neighborhood. I used to joke around, said I used to cut his grass. He loves it when I say that. But anyways, we ran into each other. Daughters about the same age, ran into each other. And he said, hey, man, why don't you come work for Toadfish? And it was pretty much on from there. I went to the warehouse and have been here since we were at the old warehouse, moved to the bigger warehouse. COVID hit and there were some people, everybody was kind of in a weird position. So I took kind of a backseat, went to the fire service or stayed at the fire service, but let me know, came back around in sales after everything, eased off. We realized that we were going to be okay with this whole craziness with the pandemic. So I came back in sales, came under Hunter. I'm gonna do a little bit different than what Hunter said. I think we're a fishing company, even though we're definitely into the coastal kitchen. Our rods are the next big thing up and coming. And if you don't believe it, go to the YouTube channels, look at these people who we don't even know are fishing our spinning rods. Casey did a great job designing them. Are meant to be fished in your hand, not in the rod holder. Nothing knocking people who fish the live bait on the bottom. I grew up doing it. These rods are supposed to be an extension of your hand. And Ronnie, you know what I'm talking about, especially whether you're bass fishing or if you're popping corks underneath docks or on the oyster beds. It doesn't matter. This stuff's supposed to be in your hand. And the next up and coming rod. We're on go ahead, Paul. I'm sorry.
But no, I'm sorry to interrupt. I was gonna say, because you talked about spinning rods, but Ronnie, predominantly you do both, but you enjoy the casting part for the bass, correct?
Yeah, I really do. And to Trey's point, man, you have to have that as an extension because you have it in your hand all day, hundreds of casts. And typically in freshwater, there is no live bait. We are fishing, trying to make it happen, and fooling the bass into believing that this thing is live. And that's the intriguing thing about bass fishing. So when you have a rod in your hand that feels like an extension of your arm, man, that's money, because you got to know that your arm's not going to let you down, or your arm's not going to break, so to speak. So that's important.
Yeah. And listen, I mean, you got to call a spade a spade. This is a hard industry to get into when you've got a new rod. I mean, you've got old school people, you've got, guys and gals who really like what they like. And,
yes,
to be able to get in there and say, hey, listen, put this new rod, this new reel in your hand and try it out. And you got to be able to stand back and take people saying, well, and then you got to be able to say, well, I told you so, because this is a rod to fish with. And, the bait casting rod, our casting rods are that's a hard market in itself to get into with the bass fishermen. But we're doing well and we're excited about it. And, like I tell everybody, put it in your hand and let the rod do the talking for itself. So,
well, my favorite part about marketing and sales is, my favorite thing is to say, I told you so. Because if you've got a product like Toadfish, you got somebody that likes it like Ronnie does, then everybody else, I just bought this new rod and it stinks. Well, I told you so, because you could have came to my our site and got it through them and all that stuff. That's
and the piggyback on that, Paul, I go around to these tackle shops here in town, and especially going back to after the pandemic, we're going to start getting back out there and talking more. But I talk to these, the guys who are doing the recommendations. Hey, what, somebody comes in and says, I don't do a lot of fishing. I do this, I do that. And I talk to them and say, why do you go to this rod? Why do you send people to this rod? Why do you send people to this rod? So I asked them, so why do you, or why do you not send people to Toadfish? And one of the guys said, he's like, man, listen, Toadfish is a rod that's got to be fished. He's like, so, if somebody comes in here and knows what they're talking about and fishing, and I send them right to Toadfish because of the action, the tip, and the backbone. And to piggyback on that, our customer service team, they're second to none. They call you and they say, hey, I for some reason, things happen. My rod broke. No questions asked. They're getting it to you and taking care of you. That way to get you back on the water and fishing. So
exactly. And Hunter can attest to this. Like, if I need to contact him for any reason, I think I texted you at 11 o'clock last night. He was the first one to get back to me. So I mean,
in my hand, man, I'm in sales. I can't miss
it's customer service all the way around.
No doubt.
And after this episode, I'll post his phone number on there so that you guys can all have it.
Bring it on, baby. Bring it on.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about this, guys. We'll start with Ronnie. How do you think COVID affected our industry in the outdoors? Did it help it because people were, they couldn't stay inside or be around people and they just wanted to go out by themselves fishing or hunting or doing whatever? Can you expand on that?
Well, here's my thoughts, and I'm going to take a personal approach because that's the only thing that most people felt comfortable doing. You're outside. You didn't have to wear a mask outside. Even when it initially came out, and you could still keep your so-called social distance, but then you can enjoy the outdoors and get some fresh air. And then that vitamin D as well. There's something to that, man. And so hence boat sales went up and still going up, and engine sales. And that's why you can't even find an engine hardly now. And still to this day, long before the real estate market exploded, there was the boat industry that just went off the rails, and RVing and the whole 9 yards, because people forced themselves to do something that they thought they never would do, which is get in the outdoors. And even if I didn't know how to do it, I'm just going to try it.
Exactly.
Hey, to piggyback on that, Paul, I'm sorry. I saw something in the on the news today that said that hunting and fishing license were up like 40%, 50%, like that. I mean, that just goes to show you that people are people are getting back. You know, they're yeah. I mean, the numbers speak for itself. Doesn't even have to be explained. So
Exactly. But I think it's also because it's one of my biggest pet peeves when I see like kids and people not enjoying the outdoors because they're always on their phone or playing a game or something like that. I mean, pick up a fishing rod. Go jogging. Explore, do something. When I was a kid, if we were home before the lights, when the sun went down, that was like a rarity. I mean, like my dad had to sit there and actually whistle through the he whistled through the neighborhood, and that was our sign. You better be home in 5 minutes.
Yes,
So we never sat there around and played video games. We were always outside, not causing trouble, but play basketball, baseball, wiffle ball, dodgeball, whatever. So I think kids nowadays just need to realize like there's so much out there in the outdoor industry that we can promote, and that's what I want is for people to all and there's environmentally friendly people, and what you guys are doing with Toadfish, helping the environment. If you're going to buy a fishing rod, buy that one because it's number one, the highest quality. Number two, you're actually giving back to help the environment. Number three, it's pretty cool logo too.
Well, and to your point, Paul, if you don't mind it, I was out yesterday with my grandkids, and they were just having a ball fishing. And in my little mind, I'm like, they're having a ball enjoying this, but like, will the fishing be the same when they're my age? And so you always got to think about it. I didn't really think real hard about it until I was with my grandkids. So I want to leave something for them, to enjoy, like what I've enjoyed all my life. And that's where the conservation piece, where we connect, man, like to Hunter's point, it's amazing what they do. And that's why it's so important to me, because I got to think about my great grandkids.
Exactly. And as many fish as you catch, we need more. We're going to need more oyster beds out there, my friend.
Well, not only that, but growing up, to think about what Ronnie's saying, growing up in Charleston, that's where I grew up, James Island to be specific. But, oyster beds filter, but they also protect. We got so many hurricanes, so many storms that come through here, and people don't realize that if you get 2-3 bad hurricanes in a couple of years, if you don't have the quote unquote foundation, the concrete, the cement, like the oysters to hold that together, is what I'm saying. You're going to get erosion. You're going to get the barrier islands disappearing, and it all goes back to put them back in there, not just for water quality, but for protection as well. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Exactly, Trey. Good point.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter, what do you have to add?
I mean, you guys covered a whole bunch of it. I mean, I'll be honest, I was up a little too late last night watching a fishing story and loved it. I called it homework, but it turned into something that kept me up way too late.
Oh, it's a great show. And
it's something I don't fish as much as Trey and Ronnie do. I get out there occasionally. I golf as much as I fish, which is not enough. But I mean, I think I watched an episode. I don't know if you remember this. It was so long ago, Ronnie. I think you had a flip phone on your hip, but it was season 2, and you had Christine Bradley on there, and it looked like you guys were best friends before you even hit the boat. I mean, the respect and the respect you have for fishing and the stories that you put in there are fascinating. It's, I mean, yeah, every now and then you'll pull a fish in the boat, but what's really fascinating is her story. I mean, you had Robert Shamblin on the same season. That's the CEO of Power Pole, and I mean, he started the concept of Power Pole with Legos. I mean, that's so cool. I mean, the stories that we develop when we're out on the water are way cooler than the fish we pull in my opinion. I think that's
exactly, and that's the whole thing about our podcast is we don't like sit there and ask questions that are staged or all that stuff. It's about life stories, and that's what Ronnie's show is about, life stories. Everybody going out sharing their story, their struggles, their hardships, and all that stuff. It's all captured in one place, but at the same time, you're enjoying life and going out there and seeing the outdoors. So that's why, Ronnie's an icon to me because he gets to share everybody else's stories, but also entertain, and also, meet people that are, potentially they need to go out fishing because they're not having a good day, or, things like that.
I don't think any of us have ever met a stranger. I've noticed that too.
It's a universal thing here.
It's awesome, man. I just want to reiterate, Trey and I hit it off right when he joined the company. I mean, all four of us have talked ad nauseum for the last few days and never skip a beat. We almost had our own podcast last night. I mean,
hey, that's my thing. That's my thing. You can't do it.
But you're doing well, Paul. I mean, just bridging that whole gap and bringing all these people together, because it's one thing to have a product, but it's another thing to have a product that's a good fit for the industry that people need to know about. And that's what I love about what you guys do.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, I keep telling you, that's why I'm not even, well, there's two things. So if you look at our thing, my IT department kind of covered Ronnie's face a tad bit. So they're going to not have a good day after this one. And then the camera on mine, I don't know. It kind of got set up last minute because, we were all too excited about it. But I think it's a great podcast. And this is more, many more to come. So, we'll talk about things developing. Heck, who knows? You guys could, be developing the next Ronnie Green rod. Who knows? But I want a piece of that action. How about but no, I think it's great what Toadfish is doing, what Ronnie is doing. And Ronnie, let's talk about a little bit more of your show that's coming up, like how broad that's going to be.
So thanks so much, man. We're just so delighted and feel so honored that the reach is expanding even more. So obviously we're on the Outdoor Channel, World Fishing Network, and that whole outdoor space. But we're going syndication this summer. So we'll have our hour-long special for 6 weeks. It's the week of ICAST. And that means for those of you that don't understand the linear conversation, that's CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox, WB, that kind of thing, in your local networks around the country. So that will be an amazing opportunity for you to see it, even at an hour length. So, and then thereafter, it'll be 52 weeks. And then we're also adding some regional networks, NBC Sports Regional on the West Coast, Wyoming, Idaho, Northern California, New Mexico, Texas, and you name it. And of course, in the Boston area, Pittsburgh, Connecticut, West Virginia, and all those areas. So, and it keeps getting lengthier and lengthier. And I'm just so overwhelmed with how things is moving. It's moving so fast, but people really want to hear stories. I heard some anecdotal information the other day from a person that's able to take a consultant was able to analyze the information. I actually heard it from a network years ago as well, that we pulled in another demographic in fishing that doesn't typically watch fishing. And I asked them, well, what does that mean specifically? I'm kind of a bottom line type person. They said, well, we have more women watching the show than men. To hear that was almost like my great grandmother's dream. And it was kind of an accident. I would like to believe that I did it on purpose, but what it was the men, we have testosterone, we like to know, hey, how many fish did you catch and how big was the fish? But at the end of the day, sometimes, and not to generalize, but we had women audience who were like, okay, well, why is that person fishing? What is that all about? So the stories intrigued another demographic. And so now we're having families watch it, husband and wife, we get letters all the time. And that's really what it's all about, man.
Exactly. That's an excellent point, Ronnie. I appreciate that you sharing that, because, I think, families in my family, family's number one. That's first and foremost. So, I don't care if I shut this company down tomorrow, but family's going to be there, first in my mind. But it's about bringing families together and just enjoying, like I said, get off the darn video games and, go out and have some quality time. as Hunter's getting text on his phone there.
That's not me.
Who is that?
It's you.
No, it's not. It's Trey.
It's not me.
I'm telling you, it's coming
not
from your
me.
video. My phone's on silent.
Yeah. No, actually, I think it's actually people chiming in from this.
Oh, it could be. I wish my phone would go off as much as that.
Yeah, exactly. No, we actually have some comments. So, Ronnie, would you like to address this one?
Sure.
Say, hey, Ronnie, how long have you been fishing, and how long do you want to continue fishing?
What a great question, by the way. Thanks so much for that question, because that's always a way.
Her name is Gina. Sorry,
Gina. Thanks so much, Gina, because it helps me to look introspective. I've been fishing since I was like 3 years old and didn't know any better. And I plan on fishing to the day I die. And because it's, I watch a lot of friends and family when they retire. What happens is they don't have a hobby. They don't know, now what? Now what do I do?
Right. Exactly.
But I feel like I have this built-in hobby that I can take with me for the rest of my life. And I actually do it for a living. And so who wouldn't want to retire when you can go fishing anywhere in the world, any type of fishing? I don't care if I'm fishing out of a bathtub, fly fishing, bottom fishing, offshore, you name it, any kind of fishing, I want to do it. And I want to do it as long as I can.
Right. That's awesome. Great answer. Well, Ronnie and I and Hunter as well have had this conversation. I do most of my fishing at Walmart when I just go in to get my goldfish. So yeah, I'm pretty good at getting the best goldfish out there. But that's
Ronnie. Paul would be the kind of guy you're gonna take to the aquarium to catch a fish.
Hey, you know what? There goes your Christmas card, Trey.
Oh my goodness.
Not a problem. You're off the list. I just marked you off.
That's hilarious.
So, but yeah, I think this is going to be awesome. Everybody know to go to BSPR LLC.com, share everything, social media. Check out our page. Toadfish is on there. Go to fishingstory.com, like and share. I would also, like Ronnie, some of your videos are on YouTube that you can check out as well, right? Mm-hmm. So go there and like and share those. And Toadfish, especially, go out there, share their product lines, what they're doing for the environment, and like Trey said, they got some killer products for their rods, and put them to the test, and guaranteed make sure that, because if I do another podcast and you guys say, yep, you were right, no problem. I'll be the first to call you out. I've got a couple more questions here. This one is from Patrick, and he wants to know, Hunter, why did you get into this industry and your passion for the environment?
Yeah, so I'm kind of like just about everybody that works for Toadfish. We were in a corporate world. I was wearing a suit every day working for Verizon selling cell phones. I've sold everything from popcorn to wrapping paper to TVs, you name it, I've sold it. I was, you talked about your parents having to bring you in. I was knocking on doors as a kid, and I had always wanted to work for a startup company. And it was a no-brainer to work for a company that is giving back first and profit second. If we were a company that just sold oyster knives and shrimp tools, it wouldn't be nearly as fun. I get to say we're from Charleston and we give back to the coast to clean our waters. I was really interested in having a career where if somebody asks what I do, I get excited about it, and so do they. Awesome. It's really cool to be an accountant, but nobody lights up and says, "Man, that's cool." Being able to tell people that, oysters filter our water. Well, I didn't know that. Well, we donated, we've planted over 200,000 square feet of oyster beds. It's like 40 Olympic pools or something. It's just really fun to talk about, really fun to get up in the morning and say, hey, I've got this cool koozie, and guess what? It gives back to the coast and it cleans our waters, and it's really fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome.
Sales is really fun, but it's really fun to sell things that people get excited for. So
exactly, and that's Ronnie's mentality, and all he does is like, you know, it's good to do that he does what he does, but also he gives back to the community. You know, he's always involved and things like that. So, I got another question from Greg. Yeah, I'm not reading that one.
is it why am I so attractive?
Actually was for Trey, so so I'm not reading that one. I got another one for Ronnie. Let's see, when will you be at the ICAST show, and will you be signing autographs?
I'm always available to sign autographs because
that was a Freudian slip right there.
Yeah. I'm always available, and let me tell you why. And I'll be there at ICAST every single day because I just feel honored that someone would think enough of me to ask me to sign something that they have. I just feel so honored by that. It's just still like a interesting thing for me. Like, so you want my autograph, and you know, and it's like, wow, man, I'm just honored, man. So anytime, you know.
Oh, perfect. So yeah, so if you're listening, then he will be available. You know, he's going to be busy, but you know, he's available to sign some autographs. You know, if you got something for him to sign. Another one for Ronnie is, what's the biggest fish you've ever caught, and where and how?
Well, I'm gonna say that tarpon, and let me tell you, I don't think you'll never hear this come out of my mouth. I don't think I ever want to do that again. It's probably about 200 something pounds worth of tarpon. And after an hour, my arms just couldn't pull anymore. And then here comes the big fin out of the water, the big hammerhead shark, dun, 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 dun. And he decides to, shut down the party. Obviously, we cut the lines so the fish can live, because that's just kind of a setup, and let the fish live another day to fight. But I tell you what, them sharks come in out of nowhere. But it was about 200 something pounds of just meat, and it was just unbelievable.
Ryan, did you catch that? Did you catch that on a spinning setup?
Yes, I did. How did you know? It was a spinning setup, and my poor arms were cursing me for the next few days.
That's the best. That's the best forearm workout you ever get.
Yes, it is. It is amazing, and it's good for sleep too. So I mean, it's a sleep aid. I mean, I went to sleep in the car, man. I wasn't driving,
Right.
And then got home and went to sleep even more so. So I tell you what, it was amazing. So that was a big fish.
That's awesome. I got this is from overseas in Greece. This is from I can't read. Hold on really quick. Tio, actually. And have you ever fished in Europe, or sea or freshwater in Europe?
No, but I've been to, I was in Killarney in Dublin.
Ireland.
Yeah, in Ireland, man. Yeah, it was just amazing just to see the water and how, beautiful it was. It was kind of cool. It was in May, so my allergies were not happy with me. And then in addition, it was just kind of still cool. But I say things like bass, and they looked at me like, nah. There was fish. That's all I need to know. There was fish, and I just wanted to experience what that fish was. So, no, I haven't is the answer to that question.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So let's see. Hunter, do you have anything to add? I don't want to tie too much people's time up here.
No, I mean, Ronnie's the most interesting person in the squad. I mean,
well, okay, fine. I'll just leave, and you guys can continue.
No. I have a question for Ronnie. Ronnie, what's your favorite? Is it bass your favorite thing to fish?
It really is. It's because it's my
why is that?
First love. It's something about that particular green monster that it is such a predatory animal. I've seen it eat ducks, baby ducks. I've seen it eat frogs. I've seen it attempt to eat baby gators, big bass. It's just a predator that says nothing is off limits for my survival. Whether it's coming out of the water, it's just an amazing animal. And then let alone we're catching them and pulling them out of the water, putting them in a live well, taking them over to a weigh-in, and it's a hardy animal. That animal can live pretty good out of the water.
Ronnie,
extensively, but they can.
Ronnie, what's your favorite bite? You like the top water? You like flipping a jig? What's your favorite bite?
It's gonna be interesting, but I love that jig. It's something about that jig, man. You're flipping a jig, and even in offshore fishing, I love jigging. Just jigging. 200 gram to like 400-gram jig. There's something about that artificial experience, man. It's just amazing because you really feel like you tricked him. I won, kind of deal.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. I got one. We'll probably try to wrap this up. It's almost been an hour or so. But I've got these are all for Ronnie. I'm sorry, guys.
It's all right.
You guys aren't on the cool cards yet.
I told you.
Yeah, but let's see. So Ronnie, where's the next place that you would like to fish just by yourself? And that's from David.
Wow, that's gonna be Alaska.
Okay.
There's something intriguing about that incredible, beautiful place. And can I give two? I'm going to give two as a backstop.
Well, David, he's given two.
Two. If it's okay, David, I'm going to add also in Africa off the coast of Senegal. There's just some massive, massive saltwater species there.
Wow.
Almost like it's untapped.
Yeah. I've been to South Africa. I've been to Johannesburg.
Oh, yeah.
But only thing I do there is surf, not fish.
Some big waves.
Yeah. So we got one more from David. His response. No, yeah, that doesn't matter. David, we appreciate it, but I'm not going to say that one. He wants to know if he can.
Comments later.
Well, no, he's basically saying, do you want he wants you to come and go down to his place and fish with him, and I'm sure everybody does, but not going to happen, David. Sorry. So we can send Trey down there.
I'm sure he'll go.
Yeah.
Paul, you don't know me well enough. I'll definitely go.
Yeah, that's fine. Not Ronnie, but we need Ronnie around. So, yeah.
Ronnie, you ever caught a toadfish?
Well, once, and I didn't even know what I had. It was an amazing creature. That's the thing about you go and catch some species you've never caught, especially in saltwater. You don't know what you're gonna get. The first time I caught a puffer fish, I was like, okay, this thing's got some radiation or something going on because he was just expanding. But that's also a good eating fish too. The Stephen
Hunter,
that's what I've heard.
Hunter, tell him why. That's a good thing to kind of tell him why we are toadfish.
Yeah, absolutely. So we wanted to start a brand that no one else has done. I mean, everybody's got a marlin or a redfish or a flounder on a shirt, but we wanted to have a fish that kind of lined up with our brand. So a toadfish is also called an oyster toadfish. They hang out around oyster beds and protect them. But a cool thing, our mantra is put them back, which is not only putting oysters back into our waters, but kind of a catch and release. The first thing you want to do when you catch a toadfish is put them back. So that's kind of he's a champion of oyster beds, rehabilitation, conservation, and he's a pretty cool looking fish too. So that's kind of why we started Toadfish, and they're all, I'm going to get in trouble here, but they're also called a mother-in-law fish.
I was wondering if you're going to go there.
I thought you were going to go there, so I was going to take it from you. But yeah,
let's keep it PC here, but
okay, that's the only thing I was doing.
Yeah, I don't need any complaints. Anyways, yeah. No, it's a great thing with Ronnie being who he is, just passionate about fishing, passionate about life. Toadfish doing everything they're doing to sell their products, but their main goal is just, I think, if I'm not overstepping, Hunter, is that your passion is the outdoor industry and giving back. So I mean, you guys need to make a few bucks to stay afloat. But
we're trying.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's where we come in. So
absolutely,
you got to buy. You got to be able to buy bait to fish with. Bait costs money, you know.
Exactly. So, and that's where we tie in. So we're doing everything we can to market toadfish, overseas, in the U.S., all that stuff. So if anybody's listening, again, like and share. BSPR LLC.com, toadfish.com, and afishingstory.com. Make sure you guys check them out. And just like Hunter said, if you watch a fishing story, I did that once. I loved it, but it's like like one of those those like binge episodes. You just can't stop watching it, and then like seven days pass and you're still watching it, because it's just amazing stories and good things that Ronnie's doing. So but I would highly recommend you do that. So that's why Hunter's tired today, because he was up watching all the episodes last night.
Yeah.
So and I do appreciate all your time. We guys will see each other at ICAST. Make sure you go to Toadfish booth, and also we'll be there. Make sure you talk to BSPR LLC. We'll have 3 people there in the booth selling toadfish in bulk. If you want to buy toadfish products online, go ahead. They're on our site, bsprllc.com. Just go on to the link, Toadfish. It goes right to their site, and you can buy it straight from them. But we're looking for the bulk major retailers, all that stuff. But we'll be at the show to talk to everybody. Ronnie's going to be there for a couple minutes in the Toadfish booth to just say hi to everybody and sign some autographs.
Looking forward to it. Ronnie, we got to get you out on the boat here in Charleston, buddy. We got to put you on a couple redfish.
Oh, man, I'm all the way in. I'll be there tomorrow.
Don't disclaim when you're going to be somewhere. He's not going to be in Orlando. He's going to be in St. Paul, Minnesota. So you'll get some stalkers, brother. Anyways, it's a pleasure to end this podcast with you guys. You guys doing amazing things, and this is the first of many. We could do a little short one at the the ICAST show, and just to, say, hey, we're here with Ronnie Green, and just come check us out. What booth number are you in, Hunter? Do you know?
Trey, I thought you'd ask me that. I had it pulled up and just lost it. Trey, do you remember what booth we're in, buddy?
I do not. I'm sorry.
We can put it like in our on our Instagram after this.
Okay. Yeah.
I actually know what booth BSPR is, and I don't know which one we're in, which is terrible.
Well, don't say that out loud.
I won't.
Okay. Oh wait, you already did. But anyways, no. Just go find Toadfish at the show. They're on the guide at the show for the ICAST directory, all that stuff. You can check them out. If not, contact us, bsprllc.com, and we'll tell you. I'll actually personally walk you over to the booth if you come see. You send me an email and I'll show you.
Trey and I are pretty loud. You'll probably just hear us.
Yeah, exactly. So, just look for the 2 maniacs that are out there.
That's right.
And then we'll have to have security for Ronnie, because there's going to be too many people trying to get his autograph. So make sure you guys have security at your booth too, and especially me too. I mean, how good looking I am,
That's right.
So,
boy, it's getting deep in here, and I don't have.
The paparazzi follows me everywhere. I'm telling you. So, but hey, gentlemen, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day, and we'll see everybody at the ICAST show.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
All right, cheers.